respected my class in charge and my dear friends, first of all, very great morning to all of you.
Very great morning, Tanu.
I am Tanu from 9th standard. Today I am here for delivering a speech and my topic is line and angles, which is related to our subject mathematics. Before telling about lines and angles, I want to tell some basic terms and their definitions. First of all, I want to tell about zero-dimensional shapes. The shapes the shapes which have no dimensions are called zero-dimensional shapes. For example, point, it has no dimension and it has also no any components and it is denoted by dot. There are two types of points, collinear points and non-collinear points. I want to tell firstly collinear points. The collinear points are that if the three or more points lies on same line, these are called collinear points, and if the three or more points do not lies on a same line, then they will be called the non-collinear points. Now next is 1D dimensional shapes. The shapes having only one dimensions. For example, lines, line segment and ray. Now next is 2D dimensional shapes. The shapes having two dimensions. For example, rectangle, triangle, square, etc. 3D dimensional shapes. The shapes having three dimensions. For example, cube, cuboid and etc. Now let's come on our topic, lines and angles. What do you mean by lines? Lines are the breathless and they do not have any endpoints and we can extend them at any both sides. Now let's come. Next is our line segments. It is a part of line and it has two endpoints. Now next is ray. It is also a part of line and it has only one endpoint. We can extend it only at one side. Now there are different ways of drawing the lines, but I want to tell you the two ways of drawing the lines are that intersecting lines and parallel lines. Intersecting lines are those lines when two lines intersect at a point, then we call them intersecting lines. Now next is parallel lines. The parallel lines, what do you mean by parallel lines? Parallel lines are those lines when they do not meet at any point. These lines called parallel lines. I want to tell about angles. What do you mean by angles? When two rays begin from a point, then they form an angle. The rays which begin from a point, then these rays are called arm of an angle, and from which point they begin, the point that will be called vertices. There are many types of angles. Firstly, acute angle, then acute angle. What do you mean by acute angle? The angle whose measure is more than 0 degree and less than 90 degree. Next is obtuse angle. What do you mean by obtuse angles? The angles whose measure is more than 90 degree and less than 180 degree. Next is right angle. What do you mean by right angles? The angles whose measure is 90 degree are called right angle. Next is straight angle. What do you mean by straight angle? I will tell you. The straight angles are those angles whose measurement is 180 degree. Next is reflex angles. The reflex angles are those angles whose measurement is more than 180 degree but less than 360 degree. Next is complete angles. What do you mean by complete angles? The angles whose measure is 360 degree, then they will be called the complete angles. I want to tell you some pairs of angles. These are adjacent angle, linear pair of angles, linear pair of angles and vertical opposite angles, corresponding angles. I will tell you about adjacent angles. The angles which begin from one common arm, then they will be called the adjacent angle. The sum of adjacent angle is 180 degree. Now thank you and have a nice day.